ready?
I guess.
We haven't introed like just plainly in a while.
Why don't we just make this the intro? Just us being like, you wanna start?
Welcome to Plot to Go. We're in our second decade. Woo! The teenage years. Episode number 11. I'm Jack.
I'm Owen.
And this week we're talking about Mickey 17, Bong Joon Ho's latest movie.
This should have been episode 17.
Should we just postpone?
Can we just skip, like, you know, like companies skip generations of things? Can we just skip to 17?
Cool.
And people will be really confused when you look back.
Well, it's a reference. We killed episode 11 to 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brutal.
They're not available. The Brutalist. Sorry.
That wasn't even like a joke. You just said a name of
No.
the film.
Brutal. The Brutalist.
I know.
We'll also be talking a little bit about Daredevil Born Again, and of course we'll end with a question.
Mm-hmm.
Owen, do you want to just dive right into Bong Joon Ho's Mickey 17?
Oh, okay, where do we start? It's so funny, I'm here talking about this. I'm so unprepared to talk about anything. I'm so tired this morning.
Lovely. We're shooting this early?
It's like as early as usual.
Yeah.
I just think it took a while for us to get home last night, and that caused problems. So Bong Joon Ho's new film, Mickey 17. I'm just gonna read the letterbox. I'll go off of that. He's dying to save mankind.
Whoa. Great slogan.
What do you think?
I like it.
A little on the nose, but then the whole movie's on the nose.
Oh, yeah,
so.
exactly.
Unlikely hero, Mickey Barnes finds himself in the extraordinary circumstance of working for an employer who demands the ultimate commitment to the job, to die for a living. So essentially, this is a bunch of people on a colony ship that are heading to a planet, Niflheim, and Robert Pattinson's character becomes an expendable where he dies for a living. They kind of use him to experiment on so that everybody else is safe. So they send him down to the planet when they first get there to essentially test for viruses. And there's a lot of Mickeys get used on essentially looking for a vaccine. Just like little bits and bobs like that. They send them on the outside of the spaceship to essentially watch him burn up like a crisp. It's actually brutal.
Yeah, he's a lab rat. He's the human equivalent of a lab rat.
I think the film does a good job of balancing that with like comedy and like kind of like I think you quite feel for him.
Oh, sure, yeah.
In funny moments.
Mm.
There's the moment with the hand where it's kind of like
like the bit from the trailer.
Yeah, the trailer shows a lot, I think, but it doesn't give like what the film is. I like what like the intricacies of it, like where it gets to it by the end.
Mm-hmm.
But it shows a lot in terms of like not set piece, but just little moments. I feel like maybe the trailer's a bit too long. It's been a little bit while since I've watched it, but
same, I wasn't a fan when I watched it, but
yeah, I remember seeing it and being like, oh, this would have been a great great surprise. They have the duplicates part in the trailer.
Yeah.
And that would have been that feels like that's a really important thing in the film that somehow just slipped in there. Other characters in this film, Naomi Aki, she plays Nasha. She's fantastic. Absolute girl boss.
Who's like Robert Pattinson's girlfriend.
Yeah. Stephen Yeun.
Yeah.
Who people will know from like The Walking Dead and Invincible.
He's
funny in this as well. Okay. Mark Ruffalo, excellent performance, I think. If you've seen him in interviews, he essentially said that at the time he thought he was doing too much with this role, and now he thinks it's underplayed.
The surrounding premise of the movie is the colony ship that they're on is his. He was an unelected official. He failed his elections twice and decided to just shoot off into space instead with all these people. He is essentially a Trump times Elon hybrid.
Yes.
He's
with
a
little bit of
megalomaniac.
like Hitler in there too.
I mean,
I guess they have already. We also have Toni Collette, who people know from Hereditary and Knives Out. She's great.
She plays his husband, his wife, who, yeah, she's like a manipulative, like pulling the strings.
Yeah.
Of this buffoon.
We also have Anna Maria. She plays a smaller role. I can't remember her name. Kai. And then like a series of other characters that are much smaller because it's like scientists and things who get some of the best lines.
Yeah, I agree. They're really comedic. What did you think of the movie as a whole?
I really enjoyed it. It's a funny one because it's really cheesy, but I think it works. And I think that's just Bong Joon Ho's style. I think Parasite is such an outlier compared to the rest of his filmography. Having only seen this isn't the fourth film I've seen. So I've seen Parasite, Snowpiercer, and Okja, and I watched Snowpiercer first, I think. So my mind was set on like what a Bong Joon Ho film is like, and then I saw Parasite, and I was like, this isn't what a Bong Joon Ho film is like, especially because we'd done that contemporary cinema course, and they showed clips of The Host, and that film's very much about nature and people kind of ignoring and destroying nature, and so's Okja, and so's this. So there's definitely, I guess, Snowpiercer, but the planets.
All of his movies have the same, I feel like core themes.
Yeah. And this one fits right in there. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. There is I know you're gonna say your criticisms, and I can totally see why you have them, because you mentioned one of them last night, and I can assume what the other ones would be. So there you go.
That's it. You want me to go now?
Yeah.
I enjoyed this movie. I think I haven't seen any of his other South Korean movies, bar Parasite. But I read around that this is more tonally in line with his English language movies, which makes sense for what you're saying. That they all have this weird satirical comedic tone.
Oh, Okja is like Tilda Swinton is in Okja.
Yeah. Which is Snowpiercer as well. It's that same.
Oh yeah. Sorry. When you said that, I was like, wait, I got this mixed up. You also have Paul Dano in Okja. Such a weird performance.
Yeah.
This really fits in.
But his South Korean cinema seems to be more like more in line with Parasite from what I've read. I enjoyed this movie. I think it works on some levels. I think comedically it's great. I think Robert Pattinson is phenomenal. I hesitate to say it's his best performance I've seen him do. Because he's just...
I definitely wouldn't say it's his best performance.
You don't think this is his best?
No.
What would you say is better?
Like the Batman.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. I have not seen The Lighthouse. I actually can't remember what else I've seen him in aside from like Harry Potter.
No, Cedric Diggory. He gave his all for that performance.
He's great in Tenet too. I think I'm not completely sold on the stupid ass voice that he was putting on for the whole film.
So to differentiate between, the core premise of the movie is that at one point Mickey 17 survives when Mickey 18 is birthed, and you end up having duplicates, and he plays them both so differently, but also the core of the character is the same. Like, you can understand why they're slightly different. You can tell the difference between the two of them the entire time they're on the screen and their mannerisms and stuff. I just thought it was very impressive to play like multiple roles like that. I enjoy what it's trying to say, like thematically and stuff, but I just don't think there's a ton there. Reflecting on it, we saw it last night. Initially, I was a bit more peeved by it just not having a lot of substance there. I do think maybe I underestimated how much it was saying, and maybe it does try to say a little bit more, but I just don't think it's ever coming to a head where it's like something really profoundly interesting. Not that it has to be. but I think it's quite on the nose, and it's always on the nose.
Yeah, this film's pretty heavy-handed with that stuff. The only thing I will say is I think people do complain about that sort of thing, but in reality, life is like that.
What do you mean?
Life is on the nose right now. You look at America.
Yeah, but yeah,
The things are ridiculous. Like, satire is real.
in a weird way though, this feels tame. Like in compared to America, like it actually, as you were kind of alluding to, with Mark Ruffalo saying that he underplayed or whatever. It does feel you can tell he's doing this like Trumpian character or whatever, but it does feel oddly reserved compared to the world that we're living in, which is
He seems to have like more marbles than Trump does.
which is shocking because this is a satirical sci-fi movie. Like, I don't know. That's not the main issue I had. But I still find that like compelling in a way, and I think just previously when Parasite is and it's awful. I mean, comparing this to like, well, I genuinely one of the best films ever made. That's so tight, and it feels like it has a lot to say with everything that it's doing. I feel like this does have a lot to say, but it's not particularly interesting what it's saying, I guess.
My hot take about Parasite is that I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Well, that's
I think
crazy.
it's overrated.
That's crazy, and I don't.
I think Parasite isn't all that deep either. I mean, sure, I'll go away and watch a video essay and be like, oh, hey, there was a lot in there. But I feel like you could do that with this too.
But to me, it feels like bitty. Like the film feels like incomplete in ways. Like it's throwing stuff at a wall to see kind of what sticks, and
Do you have an example?
it doesn't always well. No, not non-spoilery.
Right.
I don't know. I still very much enjoyed the thematic elements that it was going for. And I think stuff like it's not hard to comprehend what the real world parallel is, and I guess that's the beautiful thing about sci-fi is that you don't have to, like you're telling a story about our world without having to navigate our world. Like you go away and you explore colonialism and capitalism and all these different things, and it's interesting to an extent. I didn't get a ton out of it, so that left me, I guess, at the end feeling a bit lukewarm in it. My main issue is the pacing of this movie. I'd go as far as to say it's dreadful. Like the first hour
Oh, right, yeah, fair. Yeah.
plays out where you see a scene, then you go back in time, you then catch up to the point that you're at, and then there's another point where you go back in time, and then you catch up to the point that you're at. And personal preference as well, but that plays out through voiceover, and I don't think the voiceover is all that good. Just that first hour was like, or not even hour, I think it's less than that. It was very exposition heavy.
Yeah,
like
true.
just here's everything you need to know to get up to the point that we're at, and then the back half was like, I don't know, it didn't feel like it was satisfying enough for that, for how long that exposition was.
I think it felt much longer to you because I didn't feel like it was that long. It just personal preference too. I don't mind the voiceover. I think that's fine. There's people that really hate like the voiceover in Blade Runner and things.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can work. I think it does work. It's just like if you hate a voiceover, then
No, I'm not casting a blanket statement as well.
Yeah.
I just don't think it was good in this.
My preference in terms of pacing, I don't necessarily like when a film jumps back and then you run up to the moment. Our friend Dermot and me both thought that we were going to get to there and it was going to be like, but you're wondering how I got here. Because he starts a word and it sounds like it's going to be a phrase like that. And the film was quite cheesy, so it wasn't out of the realm of possibility.
I'm glad they didn't.
Oh, me too.
I don't know. I also think that sometimes the real world stuff was more interesting. Like
You mean
the bureaucracy and the politics that was happening on Earth to do with this technology, and like that was more interesting. Or there is elements of that in the later half of the movie, but like give me more, like really like try to unpack the ethics, or like it felt like it felt like a sci-fi movie. But like just as like a I don't want to say bog standard because it's not. There's elements of this that like raise it above that. But like there was no attempt at trying to like really unpack what this like what do they call it? Duplicates, like what that implies and what that means. They use it for comedic effect.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. There's
a film called The Sixth Day. I think it's from like 1999.
Mm-hmm.
It's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he is a clone in the film. And I think it does it much better because his people, and the guy that does clone people ends up getting cloned himself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like two of them side by side, but he's like ruined, and the other one's healthy, and the other one's like kill him or whatever. And I think that film does much better at balancing the ethics of cloning. I don't think it's a good film, but like in terms of that, I think it does that better.
There's a lot of like clones are not a new concept in media, and I think sometimes it's just been explored better elsewhere, or like printed humans, even not necessarily clones. I don't know. I did definitely have fun with it. Oh, I was going to mention, sorry, about the real world stuff. You learn about the background of duplicates and like why they get banned and stuff. I was like, that's really interesting. Like there was all these elements that were thrown. That I was like, oh, interesting, but we never explore those avenues.
I mean, we come back to that story a little bit because, but only slightly, because Robert Pattinson has like a daydream where he's picturing a duplicate.
Yeah.
So the element's still there.
But like never, I think that's my problem. Like all these elements are there. Like they start off or whatever, but it's never pushed as far as I want it to go. That makes sense. There's I genuinely can't say the stuff that's spoiling, so I'm not going to. But there's elements that get brought up that then just are never really touched upon, or like that I find bizarre. Like why was this a thing?
You're gonna tell me afterwards.
Yeah, I will. But that's maybe just a me problem. Going like, I want to know about that. Shot beautifully. I really enjoyed how it shot.
The opening shot was very nice.
Opening shot's beautiful. There's one shot that was like, my God, in IMAX. There's like a sunset or something. It's like clouds, and it was like a tiny little.
The car.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
The clouds were like the shape of the aliens.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Loved the creature design.
Yeah, me
on
too.
The aliens. Really loved it.
They managed to make them like creepy to start with, and then you're like,
yeah. I also thought they were just like really cute. So like when they were like getting paranoid, well, I mean you would get paranoid around an alien planet, but I wonder what that has to say about Earth.
A lot. They were gonna kill the natives.
Whoa, I didn't think about that. Parallel. Naomi Aki's really good in this as well. Really enjoyed her. This is a Robert Pattinson vehicle. He's like the main star of this, but she held her own. I really enjoyed her character.
I loved her.
Especially towards the end. I think they give her like a few like fun moments that are good.
Powerful moments.
Yeah, as you were saying, Mark Ruffalo and Tony Collette, phenomenal. There's a scene midway through the movie that I was like, this is pitch perfect. Like, excuse me, genuinely like.
Is it the bit where something gets said? He turns around and like puts his head on her shoulder. Because that
Is
was
that
fucking
even a scene?
hilarious.
It's the dinner scene.
Oh, okay.
I thought that entire thing was phenomenal.
There's a lot of really good scenes,
Yes.
but there was a lot being juggled at any one time.
This is what I feel like. I mean, it feels bitty.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? They are on another level. Like Mark Ruffalo does a good job of just playing a caricature that also feels real, and maybe that's helped by the fact that we live in the world that we live in, and we have men who are even more nuts than this man.
Yeah.
And I wonder, had this come out ages ago, would we still feel like he was playing a tame, realistic performance? Who knows? But it worked. And Toni Collette and her sauces.
Woman's obsessed.
Yeah. I like that joke. It ran. It kept going. We came back to the sauces a lot, but
Yeah, there's a bit the last time she mentions sauces. I didn't like, but then the nature of that scene, I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
I didn't like that scene.
It was a weird.
It was tacked on. It felt like a.
I don't know if it was. I've called it tacked on. I think it's just. I think it pulls the rug out a bit because you think the film's never played with you, and then suddenly you're like, oh, I think it's just a bit whiplashy.
I also don't think it plays with you all that much. It's like it's not even a twist. It's just an added bit of information that then doesn't move the story forward in any way at all because you've cut forward.
No, but it shows you the inner workings of Robert Pattinson.
I guess. Stephen Young, when you sort of brought up his name, he's weirdly. I do enjoy him in this movie. He's just weirdly not in it a ton. He's like just randomly in it. And given the premise of the movie is that him and Robert Pattinson went to space together, and I get that he ditches him early on because he can, whatever job he gets.
Flitter pilot.
There you go. I still thought it was weird that you don't ever see him. I guess Robert Pattinson falls in love. Maybe that's why Stephen Young. He's like, fuck this. Yeah, I don't know. Good movie. Good, genuinely good. I've sounded quite negative on it, but
I'm assuming you're going to give it like a 3.5.
That's where I'm saying. Between a 3 and a 3.5 is where I'm saying.
Yeah, fair enough.
How about you?
I don't know. A 3.5 or a 4.
Okay.
It's definitely not in 4.5, 5 realm. That's for sure.
But interesting, you go 3.5, 4, but it sounds like you enjoyed it a lot more than me though.
Yeah, I think so. I think I don't know. The film's just really fucking quirky, and I kind of enjoyed that a lot. It just.
How do you feel about it thematically though? Like, do you agree with what I'm getting at about the themes of the movie and it feeling?
I mean, it's political. They're covering nature.
No, yeah, but how do you feel about the way it's handled in the movie?
I think it's handled fine.
You don't feel like it's heavy-handed and it's saying it's not. It's just saying kind of obvious.
I think I was saying to our friend Samuel last night. I didn't think Parasite was subtle. So, this is obviously very heavy-handed, but it's not. Again, Bong Joon Ho's other films are, so it's not. Sorry, I excluded Parasite. I'm not saying Parasite's heavy-handed. It's just not outside the realm of what I was expecting.
Huh.
I also don't think it's a negative thing for something to have heavy-handed messaging.
No, but I feel like it has to say a little bit more. In my opinion, my main issue is the pacing. The heavy-handedness can be all heavy-handed if it wants. You don't have to give deep political commentary, but
the film did feel long.
Yeah, I'm shocked at how short it is.
Well, it's 2 hours 20.
See, to me that's I'm delusional next to me. I'm like, that's short.
Oh no, I would say that's like not long, but like
It's average.
not for normal films, like for a Marvel film.
You just called this a Marvel movie. Bong Joon Ho.
Mickey 17's in the MCU, no? He's gonna be in Phase 76 with Globsharp.
What?
You've never seen those memes there, like, the new Marvel character Sleep Schlarp.
No, that's really funny.
Because that's what it sounds like to everyone. Because nobody like
Yes.
knows these characters, especially like if you're not clued into like anything. And they announce something, you're like, what the fuck is that?
Mm.
All the people that I saw on Thursday didn't know there was a new Fantastic Four film coming out.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think that the MCU's dead.
Okay.
And now we can put that in the title.
Let's not get.
Now we can put it in the title. I do think it's a little long, or like at least I think it feels longer than 2 hours 20 if I'm being honest. I never noticed the pacing much aside from that run up at the start, where I kind of sat there and I was like, "There's probably a better way of doing this that I don't know," but I can see why you chose to do it. Like you wanted that opening scene to maybe look the way it did, and like for you to see what it's like for Mickey to essentially like die. Like, I get why you started it there, but doing the let's rewind and then shooting forward again, don't love personally. The VFX I thought was quite good, but it's a really bad shot in the film.
Go for it, 'cause I also have a shot in my head that
It's
shot in my head that's bad.
you know when the creatures are like moving Mickey, and it's like a wide shot of a cave.
Oh, uh-huh.
It looks horrendous.
Uh-huh.
Aside from that, I don't love a standout. That's really bad.
It's just really bad green screening when they're in the jail. They cut to a wide where the like pages are on the right and you actually see the back, and it's just green screen. It looks like a set. And I was like, oh, that's a shame, because I actually thought it was looking pretty good. Like the ship has feels like a ship. Like you can see people are living on it. Like it feels lived in.
I never noticed that. There was the bit where they jump off the ramp, and that looked a little bit funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was a great stunt in this film. And when they go for lunch, Robert Pattinson like falls into a table, and you just feel like that. Oomph.
Oh, that's good. Also, when he falls down the stairs, he has good physical comedy in this. Like really good physical comedy.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna talk about Naomi Aki's like, head leg grab, classic woman superhero move.
Excellent stuff.
It's phenomenal. It's a very good stunt. Yeah, I just wanted a little more out of this. I think a little bit more depth. Who knows? Maybe that is due to the times that we're living in, but we're living in the times that we're living in. So.
Yay!
So
No
I'm going to
spoilers.
review Daredevil Born Again. No spoilers, guys, because Owen hasn't seen it. Terrible.
Would you have talked about spoilers?
Yes.
Aside from...
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. If you'd seen it, I would have made this to a non-spoiler spoiler.
Okay.
Daredevil Born Again, if you're unaware, is the continuation in air quotes of the Daredevil series that premiered on Netflix a decade ago, which is nuts. Disney got the rights to the Defenders saga, and they decided to reboot this show with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio coming back to their roles. The show has had odd reception, in my opinion, across the internet. It is either the best thing the MCU has ever made, or it is unfaithful to the original show and the worst piece of garbage ever. It's the internet is just hyperbolic. I watched the first 2 episodes. I'm a massive fan of the original show, like massive. I didn't get to finish my rewatch beforehand.
Where are you?
It's still in season 1, but I am going to continue watching it because I am enjoying it. It brings me back to being a kid, like watching something that, granted, I probably was old enough to watch that stuff, but I was also like a child.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that, like, oh, I'm watching something scary and dark for the first time, because it wasn't like I'm sticking on a horror movie. I was sticking on a superhero thing, and I was really into superheroes, so I like had to build myself up to watch it. You know,
Cute.
thanks. um, so yeah, I'm enjoying the original show. These first two episodes, I'm gonna have to just tiptoe around spoilers. I think are perfectly fine. I think there's some really good elements to it, and I think there's some really atrocious, bad storytelling choices that they make. There is an opening to the first episode that's about 15 minutes long, where you are settling back into this world, and it is kind of like a direct continuation from like season 3. It's more like there's obviously been events in the world that have went on, but they've existed within the MCU, and life has been fine for them. Do you know? Actually, in saying that, I always wonder this: who was blipped? Can we start getting answers to that?
Can we get confirmation?
Because I'd love to know. I think that's so fascinating.
I was hoping that was going to be in that show, but I guess they obviously like skip over that, which I'm shocked by.
Well, think about how much we talk about COVID here. Can you imagine half the planet disappears?
How often are you talking about COVID?
You literally brought up COVID, like you went to a COVID museum.
Yeah, that came to me. Like, I feel like people kind of go about their daily lives having like just completely moved on from that.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people talk about the pandemic at the moment. So yeah, so we pick up. I don't know how long it's been since season 3, if I'm being honest, and you just get thrust into this world immediately. They make a major decision in the first 15 minutes that I've heard some people say will alienate some audiences, and some people will be like actually pissed off at this decision, and some people will think that it's like really interesting and cool. I think it's neither. I think it had the possibility to be interesting, but my issue isn't with what happens, it's with what they decide to do after it, that I think is just a complete assassination of what the original show was, what the core of the original show was. That it's just sad when it was built up to be this continuation. So I was just immediately like, oh, not at the decision. I actually, when the decision was happening, I was like quite like not moved. It wasn't like emotional or whatever, but I was into it. And then something happens, and I just was like, oh, you've just deflated any energy I've had of excitement for this, which sucks. The next, like, the rest of that episode and then the second episode deals with where they're setting up this season to go, and a lot of that is setting up new characters. There's a lot of new characters, and I don't think any of them are particularly interesting so far, which sucks. There's a therapist that's actually interesting because she's been placed in a position of interest between characters that I'm like, oh, I'm excited to see where your storyline goes. The rest of the characters feel super, super unfleshed out. Like, having rewatched the original, 1 or 2 episodes in, I'm like, Karen's really interesting, Foggy's interesting. Foggy maybe less so, but you still establish who he is. And in those first 2 episodes, it is maybe more the comedic, like, goofball. Yeah. But at least he has, like, a distinct personality. You don't set up Kingpin, I guess, in those first 2 episodes, but you have, oh, what's his name? Leslie? His, like, underling guy.
Oh, there's a couple of them, isn't there?
The like, the main one, the, like, creep. He looks, like, creepy.
Right.
Who, like, organizes the hand together, and the hand's, like, or no, is that what they're called?
It's the hand.
No, I'm talking about, like, all the kingpins. All the, like, heads of the gangs.
Oh, I don't know, but there's one person in there, or 1 or 2 people in there that are part of the hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, all of them, when they're like, oh, is he visiting us? And he's like, no, he can't today. And he's there. Like, there's interest within the villains, for sure. You have, like, the night nurse, Rosario Dawson. Like, there's just a lot there that I'm like, I want to see where this goes. There's nothing.
Mm.
The stuff that I'm interested in is Matt and Kingpin. But I can't necessarily credit the show for doing that because they had 3 seasons of storylines that they're building on. Kingpin's also had Hawkeye and Echo and all of this to like build upon. Which, side note, you don't need to watch any of that shit to understand this.
Okay, that was going to be my question. The fact that I've not finished Echo.
You maybe do slightly to understand why Kingpin is not Kingpin.
Oh, okay. But like, that's fine because I'll go back and it doesn't matter that I watched that beforehand.
I would literally just watch what happens to him in the final episode of Echo.
Wow.
That's it. That's all you really need to know because it sets up his character to go in a different direction. But the draw of this season is the dynamic between those two and what they're trying to do. I mean, if you've seen the trailers, it's probably what you were interested in anyway. Matt is giving up being Daredevil and Kingpin is running for mayor and trying to be an upstanding citizen. 2 things that are the complete reverse of what they were doing in the original show.
Yeah.
Matt gave up Daredevil about 1 billion times, but like in a different way. That's interesting, and seeing how they're slowly being pulled back into the lives that they were in.
Mm-hmm.
Super interesting. And you know, given it's a Daredevil show, you spend a lot of time with him, and I feel like they're treating Kingpin like his second protagonist, like they were Lonnie in the Friendly Neighbor Spider-Man show.
Yeah.
So that's super interesting. Anytime you spend with them, it's great. But the side characters around them are just like plain, and it's really hard. Fisk obviously is now in the mayor's office, so he has a lot of like political team around him, and just nobody's interesting, which sucks. I also, sadly, this is just the way of Disney Plus and TV. It looks worse. I think everybody knew that going in though.
Yeah, I think that was to be expected.
The lighting's just, it's not bad.
Just like flat.
It's flat, and it's bad in the context of what the show was like before. Because if you watch this and this was the start of a brand new show that had nothing to do with anything before it, I don't think you bat an eyelid because it just looks like TV now. But because you did have a show that was like so visually like contrasting and like they really played about with color and highlights and shadows and all of that, that's just stripped out the show. There is some elements that are really cool. There's they use Matt's powers in this show better than they do in the original. They do really cool things with aspect ratio and like it gets a little bit annoying the amount that they use this, but like the camera darting to where he's listening to.
Right.
Like there is some visual elements that are nice and that feel elevated.
That sounds like the Daredevil film.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a done better,
Okay.
but in
I hope
a
so.
way, yeah. It's just a shame that it looks as blah as it does because you know what it could look like, and that's what sucks. But there are elements that are nice.
Are Karen and Foggy in it enough?
You can't ask me that.
Okay, never mind. I do think from the trailers it's clear that they're trying to do a lot because there's Kingpin, you have Punisher, you also have Bullseye. So obviously this is a continuation of the last 3 seasons, but it does feel like they might be throwing shit at a wall.
I can't comment on any of that.
Cool.
I can't even comment on. There was something that if people have seen it, they'll know what I'm on about. But there was an interview that was with the creator who said that they rejigged the season about
Yes.
because what happens off screen, and he was like, "That's not. We shouldn't have that. We should address that within the show." And my issue is they address that in the show and then do nothing with it story-wise, which is sad. The CG's awful. Also,
I
just
can't
talking
wait
about
for
visuals.
that.
It's actually, I hesitate to say it's the worst of the. Oh no, there's elements of She-Hulk that are worse.
The CG Daredevil and She-Hulk, and it's not good either.
This is worse than that, in my opinion. You only get one scene with Daredevil. It's really bad. And do you know what's so annoying is that scene is meant to be like hard hitting and emotional and stuff. And whenever you see him just jumping about the place, it's like, oh, I'm taken out. Like,
what's worse is you see him in Echo, and it's the grounded version.
What's worse is that at the end of episode 2, there's a fight scene, and he's not there. He's Matt. He's fighting as Matt, and it is this hand-to-hand combat that's like brutal and like. I would go as far as it's like as brutal as some of the most brutal fight scenes in Daredevil.
Is there a lot of blood then? Because Daredevil has that first episode.
Yeah. Wait, maybe I'm exaggerating a little. Maybe I'm exaggerating because it is Disney Plus, and I was watching this, and I was like, "Whoa, wow, okay,
oh my god,
wow.
Someone just got punched."
Yeah.
A human being punched another human being. It's not aliens.
No CGI on that.
Yeah.
But the ending of episode 2, I'm like, ooh, yeah, give me more of that. So there's really only 2 fight scenes in the first 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fine. I'm not someone to complain about that. I think the more interesting elements of the original show is the lawyer stuff and the talking between characters and ideologies, whatever. But if the fight scenes go in the direction of that second fight scene, awesome. But if they don't, I don't know. The opening, slight spoilers for how it's shot. It's a one shot. The opening.
Okay.
Part of it, and it's bad. It's just bad compared to the previous ones. Like you can see where the cuts are. They use fog. At one point, you're like, okay, wonder what that's for. Like it's just. I was sitting there like, please don't let this be your succession of the hallway fight scenes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I am hopeful because the ending of episode 2, I was like, okay, interesting where you're going with this. But it was it wasn't my favorite. I also went in with the reactions of people who got to go to the premiere and stuff being like, this is the best Marvel pilot they've ever put out. In what world? I truly, I don't.
So this show's releasing weekly.
It is slightly. Disney Plus are doing really weird release schedules. So this is also, I think what I saw was maybe not necessarily confirmed, but it's 2 episodes, 1 episode, 2 episodes.
That's fine.
I think.
It's a little bit odd, but like symmetrical.
Yeah. Would be really curious to hear other people's thoughts on this that aren't TikTokers going.
Let me tell you my thoughts on it.
Go. Can't wait.
You know what? I think it's the best Marvel project since Endgame.
No way.
But also the MCU is dead.
Yeah. The intro's changed.
Were you not expecting it to change?
No, I stupidly was like, people say that this is one of the best intros of all time. We'll keep it. I actually do like the new intro.
But it's not going to stack up next to the old.
It's just the music, and obviously it's playing off the music of the old one. It's just not quite the same.
I think because of the success of that version of the character, and Daredevil was kind of, aside from the fact that we had Ben Affleck, we kind of like got this character that everyone like fell in love with, and it's that version. So like he is the one. You know, you have like Wolverine.
Yeah.
So like wherever he is, they just use that music. Like, they used it in the Spider-Man cartoon. So I'd rather they didn't change that. I'd rather they kept that. I mean, I think you're in the same boat, but yeah. I've got my question here.
Lovely.
You ready for it?
I don't know.
You done with Daredevil?
Yeah. I just don't know if I'm ready for a question.
Oh shit. Okay. Do you think trigger warnings at the beginning of media act as a spoiler, or do you think a synopsis should be able to portray enough about what the piece of media contains? Should it be up to the viewer to do more research, or up to the creator to be clear about triggers? What are ways you can think of to come up with a decent balance?
This is a very easy thing for me to answer. I think they're absolutely necessary.
What, trigger warning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they spoil the film.
No.
Especially because trigger warnings are kind of just like more detailed versions of like there's violence in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah, as someone who cares like quite deeply about spoilers and is even like, don't tell me there's a twist in the film or like where it's going to be or something, because then I'm just sitting there expecting it and I hate that. I don't think those are spoilers.
No, I'd go as far as to say they're necessary as well. Like, I know people have co-opted the word triggered and whatever to mean something different now, but like, if someone has went through something harrowing, whatever that may be, and that's in a movie and they do not want to see that, I think it absolutely should be put on screen.
Nice. One of our much easier
That
questions.
was really strange how quick that was.
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Oh.
I thought of it last night because as we were leaving, you were talking about Charlie XCX being rumoured to play the White Witch.
Yeah,
in the Narnia
maybe.
film. And then I thought, Troye Sivan can be
Oh
Mr.
my
Tumnus.
god, that's crazy.
So should we cast the Narnia film?
Let's cast an Narnia film in the world of Brat.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it essentially is.
Is Dua Lipa can be Aslan.
Every time she comes in there, she goes, Houdini.
Jeez. Alright, let me look up Narnia.
But the thing is, then we're casting, like, children. I don't, like, can we just cast them as
No, I
adults?
feel like we need to figure out who we would cast. I just don't know, like, fucking British kids that would...
British child actors? I do not know any off the top of my head.
Yeah. So who do you want to cast as the mess instead then?
I don't know. Oh, this is really funny.
No, can we make Willem Dafoe Aslan?
Oh, that's good.
But
That's good.
there's no CGI.
It's
He
just Willem
plays
Dafoe.
Aslan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he would do that as well.
Yeah, he'd be excellent Aslan.
Yeah. I'm casting Cocaine as Turkish Delight.
Holy shit. You're not just going to cast Snow as Cocaine.
That's good. That's really good.
Just cocaine everywhere.
She's not the Ice Queen, she's the Cocaine Queen.
Jeez.
Who else is in that movie bar the...
Oh. I know two kids to cast. The fucking Bridget Jones kids.
Oh,
Let
absolutely.
them grow up like a year or two. They can easily be Lucy and Edmund.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Lucy and... Is it Edmund?
Yeah.
And then the older ones are Peter and Susan. So you're talking about like teenagers.
Yeah, I don't know who the fucking cast is.
Just cast Millie Bobby Brown.
She's never getting out of this.
She's never, and it's a Netflix movie as well. God. Often child actors or like teenage actors are the worst parts of movies, so they don't necessarily stick in my brain.
Yeah. You could maybe cast like the Percy Jackson kid as.
Oh, that's not a bad shout.
Yeah, I mean I've not seen Percy Jackson, so I have no idea what he's.
He's good.
Like. Right. Okay.
Did you see the Adam Project, the Netflix movie?
Yeah, he was fine in that.
He's good.
Right.
I think.
Who the fuck's Susan?
Rachel Sennett, just for shits and gigs.
Is that hang on.
Bottoms lady, because you've seen Bottoms.
Isn't she like so much older than the rest? She's 29 years old.
Yeah. She plays a teenager.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's it though. There's no. Is there any other characters in that first movie?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
main
I mean,
characters.
You have like the
Oh, the beavers.
the beavers. That's Don French. That's one of the beavers.
Oh wow.
Mr. Beaver is Ray Winston.
I'm casting Edward Norton.
Interesting.
Just because I think that'd be funny.
As Mrs. Beaver.
Hey now. And who's like an older woman who's like
Just cast Don French again.
yeah, okay. That works.
No, I don't know. Olivia Colman.
Great. Oh, they would make a great pair.
Yeah. Well, Ed Norton.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking about sorry, I meant Graham Norton.
Oh, fucking yes. Let's have Graham Norton.
Yeah. And Olivia Colman. That'd be so good.
Jeez.
Oh, this is a good movie.
Yeah, I think we can we send this
to Greta. I have her number, but we'll call her after this.
Oh. Professor Diggory Kirk.
I have no idea who that is.
I don't. Oh. It's the guy's house they move into. It's the guy that adopts them.
Oh, so like just a curmudgeon-y old man.
He's not curmudgeon-y, he's lovely.
Oh, is he?
But you think he's curmudgeon-y because the like his wife or the person who's after the house or something, she's curmudgeon-y.
Right.
So
we need a curmudgeon-y woman and a nice man.
Yeah.
Who's like a nice old man?
And who could be a curmudgeon-y woman?
Yeah. A nice old.
Oh, the nun in Derry Girls could absolutely fulfill
that's
that role.
Brilliant. That's inspired casting actually.
In terms of like lovely old man, not sure. Give David Tennant the role. I want to put David Tennant in something.
Okay.
It's obviously need like a lot of makeup and stuff. Like not makeup,
prosthetics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like give him like a beard and grey hair.
Okay.
But I don't think he's far off of what
yeah, probably.
Yeah,
He just looks good.
Jim Broadbent, who played him
originally.
originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he's probably not far off whatever he was at that point.
Yeah.
Although you can tell in that film they made him look a bit older. And then I think we've pretty much got everyone.
Fuck, Dua Lipa's not getting a role anymore. She could be Prince Caspian.
I fucking love that. Absolutely. You sure you don't want to make her Father Christmas?
Ooh. And she's Mother Christmas.
She could be Mother Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the sleigh's coming down.
Yeah, the sleigh is coming down. It's Mother Christmas.
It's like the scene where they're all running and stuff, but you could just hear like music in the background.
Wow. I mean,
yeah.
Hollywood, guess on the line.
Yeah. I think this is a fantastic film. We're gonna be disappointed with the actual thing.
I know. Charlie better get that role. I genuinely think it's like such an interesting take on that character. Because, was it on the podcast or was it not? Because I think it was that we ended up speaking about Narnia one week.
We did, because I'd watched it and I was like, Narnia's a really fucking good film. Disney don't do just like random fantasy films where they like put money in them anymore.
Is that how Tilda Swinton ended up in the Stand book?
It might have been, yeah.
Because we spoke about her like being like nobody else is going to do that role as well.
Yeah.
And I think they're right, and they should just do it in a completely different direction. Yeah.
Agreed. So we've answered 2 questions.
Wow, look at that. 2 for the price of 1. Thank you so much for joining us today on this lovely day. I hope it's lovely when you're listening to this.
It's lovely outside.
It seems lovely. The blinds are closed.
This is much better lighting, I would imagine.
Than...
Had they been open.
Oh yeah, no, we'd be...
Yeah.
Because I'm a vampire. Like, subscribe, comment... Follow. Ask us questions if you have any. And also, I genuinely would like to know people's opinions on both the things that we spoke about today.
And the Narnia casting.
And
the trigger warnings.
Yeah, is there anybody opposed to that?
I don't know.
Interesting.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to hear
to know.
So.
Next week, we will be speaking about Steven Soderbergh's Black Bag, which is getting good reviews, shockingly. I'm excited that it's getting good reviews.
Good.
Because I
You
think
should
we
always
both
be
thought the
excited.
trailers were bad. Like, just the lighting was so weird. And we'll probably talk about Opus as well, which is the new I Wed Beery thriller comedy. I don't know, whatever. I Wed Beery's in it, and it looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.